Hey buddy, from Bali. This is our little villa. Yeah. Okay. Good morning. I haven't taken a shower. You're gonna have to excuse the way I look. It is what it is. All right. So I'm gonna try to go through the trading strategy that I've kind of talked about. I've already trained probably 20 to 30 people, and my thought was when I put that post out on Facebook was it was just an easier way for me to communicate with the 30 people. But I've gotten several private emails and texts and so forth saying, hey, what the heck do you do? So I'm going to go through that. So let's start out with how I got into this. It was really my son North. When he was in junior high, wanted to trade stocks and options, and I gave him 3 large books of, it was actually on options at the time, 3 large books on options, and I said, hey, come up with $5,000 and we'll open a trading account. You make some money on paper trades, and from there we can actually do some trading. And so he went through the 3 books pretty quickly, and he had a little notebook at school where he was trading people's phones, buying someone's phone, selling it to somebody else, buy that person's phone, sell it to somebody else, a little swap. And came up with $5,000 pretty quickly. And the next thing I know, I have to read the 3 books because I've got to make sure that he understands what's going on, and that's how it all started, right? And 2-3 years ago, I left my company and have been kind of traveling and making money off of, when I say my company, it wasn't my company, I worked for a company. And I've been making money off of stocks and options ever since. I traded pretty much stocks in the very beginning, and I was making 10 to 15%. But with the VXX, you can average around 200 to 300% on a yearly basis. And so this video is 10,000 foot view. So if you're a trader, it's probably not going to be the video for you. But I just going to give kind of a high level view of how I trade and what I trade, and we'll go from there, if that makes sense. Okay, so how to do this pretty simply. There is the VIX. There is a symbol called VIX that you can type into something, any trading platform. TradingView is a free one, and you can kind of look to see what the VIX is sitting at today. And the VIX is a fear index of the SPY 500. So the SPY 500 has 500 of the largest companies in the United States. You got your Apples and your IBMs and so forth in this conglomeration of 500 stocks. And it goes up and down. So you can look, say, hey, what's the SPY sitting at today? Oh, it's at 2,300 or 2,800. And then it goes down to 2,700. You're like, oh yay, there it is at 2,700. And the VIX goes up and down just depending on where the fear is that this could move, right? So if the VIX is sitting at 15, it's saying that the SPY 500 could go down 15% within a 1-month period of time. If it's sitting at 50%, it could lose 50% of its value in a 1-month period of time. We trade, when I say we, my son, myself, 30 people that I've trained or at least talked to about this piece of it. We trade that the VIX at some point, if it spikes up high, 50%, it will come down to a more reasonable level. During this last year, 2007, 2008, VIX has been historically low, ridiculously low. So we've only been able to trade 8 times during this period of time. We made 250% over this last calendar year, January to December 2017, from 2018? Yeah, 2017. And hopefully this year we'll have a little bit more fear in the market, and it'll be even a little bit better. Okay. When I came up with the strategy, it was more risk. When I came up with the strategy, it sounds like I made it up. When I researched this strategy, it's out there. People have been doing this for a while. But I found the strategy. Let's put it that way. When I found the strategy, I looked back in the history of VIX to figure out where the largest spikes are. You had your Lehman Brothers crash. You had your 9/11 and so forth. Those were the large events where VIX went pretty crazy. During your Lehman Brothers crash in the housing market that came after that, you had your VIX jump up to 90%, which says the SPY can lose 90% of its value within a 1-month period of time. As the SPY started to crumble, that VIX index came down, went from 90 to 60, I think it was in a 24-hour period of time. Because SPY had gone down so much, it was saying from where it's at today, it can only lose 60% more of its value. And then as it kept going down, VIX started to crumble even more, 30%, 12%, down to 13%, because it had already lost so much value. So that's pretty much the theory, right? As VIX goes up and it's high, we're saying that at some point in time that will go down. Fast forward to this last year, we had Kim Jong-un come out and say that he's going to shoot nuclear missiles and possibly blow them up over near Guam or right outside of Guam. VIX spiked up 18%. Realizing that Kim wasn't necessarily going to actually do that, it came back down probably to 9%. So we make money as the fear comes out of the market. So when VIX is up at 18%, it's saying SPY can go down 18%. It didn't. It just kind of stumbled a little bit, maybe 0.5%. VIX climbed up pretty significantly, and then the SPY started to turn. VIX came down. We don't actually trade the VIX, so I'll kind of go through this as well. It gets a little bit complicated. You got the SPY 500. You have the VIX. VIX is the fear index. VIX can only go from 0 to 100. That's it. At 100, SPY is worth 0. Apple's worth 0. IBM's worth 0. Okay. VIX is now over here. There's a derivative called VXX. VXX trades the futures of the VIX. So the VIX happens to have, and let me go through futures maybe real quick, and then I'll jump back into this. There's several things you can trade. You can trade stocks. I can buy a stock. I can sell a stock. If I'm selling a stock, I don't even have the stock. Somebody else owns it. I'm saying, hey, I'm going to sell, let's say, Apple at $100. Every dollar that it goes down, Apple goes down from $100, I happen to make that money. I can buy Apple at $100. Every time Apple goes up from $100, 100 to 105, let's say, I made $5 of money off of that trade. You have something called options. Options is the same sort of thing, except for it's over a period of time. It could be 1 month, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years, whatever, but I rent the stock for a period of time. And then there's something called futures. Futures are normally used in like your commodity trades, your oils, your golds, your wheat. And think about this, it makes sense, right? So as wheat prices are going up and down, there's a future, let's say in October, and I happen to harvest it in October, and wheat is selling for $100 a bushel. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but let's just pretend it is. It's selling for $100 a bushel. Me as the farmer, I say, hey, that's actually a really good price. I want to lock that in. I can buy the October future for $100, and no matter where wheat goes, up or down, when October comes, I can get my bushels and I can sell them for exactly $100. Oil does the same sort of thing. VIX happens to have a future, so it has a January future, because I'm in January right now, has a February, March, April, yada, yada, yada. The derivative that we're talking about, VXX, buys the second month future, which is February right now, and it sells the front month future, which is January right now. So the January future of VIX is what VIX is sitting at right now. So let's say it's sitting at 15. Within a month period of time, it's saying the SPY can move 15%. From January all the way to February, which is 60 days, the VIX future is sitting at 18. So since VXX buys the February and sells the January, it's buying the February at 18 and it's selling the January at 15. What does that do to the stock price, VXX? It makes it continuously crumble down. There's a fancy word called contango, which is the percentage between the 15 and the 18 that we just talked about. And it says, okay, if nothing else happens, nothing else changes within the month, VXX is going to crumble, let's say 18%. Going to continue on down. Well, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, that can't happen forever. You get to 0. You're right. You're absolutely right. I hope you're thinking that. Anyways, so the VXX crumbles down, gets to about 10. It does a reverse split, 4 times reverse split, sometimes more. 4 times reverse split up to 40, and then it crumbles back down to 10. Does a 4-time reverse split up to 40. So you can go type in the symbol VXX, you can look back at the history, and you can see that it goes into the trillions, right? Because it's always going from 40 down to 10, 40 down to 10, 40 down to 10. Thus, the price keeps getting larger and larger on the tail end of that particular stock. we trade that VXX. We trade it down. We're saying fear's coming out of the market, right? So let's go back to our futures a little bit. VIX for January, let's say is at 15, and February sitting at 18. VXX buys on a daily basis the 18 and sells the 15. That contango percentage of the way it's going to crumble is at 18% if nothing happens. If both of them go up, all of a sudden there's a fear event, and this goes up to 20, this one will probably go to 25. The contango's still there, so we buy VXX when it's high like that, and as it goes down, we make the money from these going down, plus we make the contango between the difference. So let's go back in our history lesson from 2007, 2008, the whole Lehman Brothers crash, when fear jumps up to 90. Within 6-month period, VXX was making a new all-time low. So that tells me if I want to get into this game, I have to prepare for the worst case scenario, which history right now says that's the worst case scenario. So I at least need a 6-month contract. So I buy options at a 6-month contract and saying, hey, that the fear is going to come out of the market within 6 months or more. I can do a year. Sometimes I do a yearly or a leap year on UVXY. And I make money as the fear comes out of the market. 15 and 18, they come on down. Plus I make money off the contango. Obviously the 2007, 2008 doesn't happen on a regular basis, but even this last year, there's 8 times where fear was at a level that it made sense for us to get in to the market, and as that money comes, as the fear comes out, we make money off of that. Our normal trade, we're averaging probably about 30 to 50% profit off of each one of those little bumps, right? Between that range, 30 to 50% profit. At that point in time, we come out and we just wait for the next time it pops up. We get back in, come back out. 8 times, 250%. And we're not putting our whole account in as well, so it's not like I'm putting, let's say I had $100,000, I'm not putting the whole $100,000 in, I'm putting, 50% in, and as it gets higher, it's at 15, I'm in at a certain level, it's at 30, it's at 50, it's at 80, I can get my whole account into the trade. That's kind of it in a nutshell. It's super simple, right? Fear from SPY goes up. We say that fear has to come down. We trade the fear on the way down. We use options to do so for a couple different reasons, which we'll get into later. And we make money off the options after we get out. That's it. I think the next video I'm going to go into depth a little bit about stocks and options and what an option is and how it varies in price and so forth. But that's kind of the high level 10,000 view of the theory behind our trade. And I keep saying behind like it's something special. It's out there. People do this all over the place. I'll end on this though. My 21-year-old son, 7 months ago, was down to $800. He's way more risky than I am. He trades shorter time periods on a one month time frame. He doesn't anymore because he has a decent amount of capital. But he went from $600 into the 20s within a 6-month period of time. Can be done. Now, what he does is risky, and I'm not going to be talking about that. But there's definitely money to be made on the option side, saying that the fear is going to come out of the market. I do suggest that everyone, when they're looking at this, any capital you're putting in, you have to be willing not to be able to touch for 6 months. It's a possibility. Not only is a possibility, it's a very good possibility that we'll have another 2007, 2008 crash. It won't be necessarily the housing market, something else, the bonds. Could be, I don't know, Bitcoin could become the next huge currency and our dollar could lose all its value. Who knows? No one knows. All we do know for certain is usually every 7 years, 6, 7 years, we have a decent market correction. During those market corrections, it's the worst time for you to be getting out. You want to stay in because you're buying that fear is going to come out of the market. So you're actually selling fear to somebody else. And the longest period of time that we have on record so far for the VIX and the VXX, for it to make a new all-time low is 6 months. So whatever you put in and whatever you decide, if you're going to walk down this road with me, to be able to put in, you have to be willing to say that I can live without for at least 6 months. If you can't do that, don't do it. because there will be a period of time coming up. The last one was 2007, 2008. Where are we at now? It's been about 10 years maybe. Something else big's going to happen. And the worst time, if you're selling fear and fear is high, you don't want to be buying it back at that particular time just because you have to use that money. That's it. That's the theory. Here's the last little piece as well. And I've been telling, I started this year, so not all my 30 people, all the 30 people that I've talked to about this are going to do it. I am suggesting that, not only suggesting, I'm making it happen. Everyone that kind of jumps on board and starts using this theory, that you save 10% of your profits on a yearly basis and you go party somewhere big. And hopefully you party with me somewhere big. So my son and I are doing this for sure, and there's a couple other people that said they'd jump in on the bandwagon as well. So if you're investing $25,000, you should be making 50 to 70.